Today, I have got Emily joining me, who is currently doing my Thrive program. And Emily and I have been connected on social media for a few years now. And we were messaging back and forth the other day, and I was like, this actually would be a great conversation to share with my menopausal tribe. So, Emily, what I might do is actually just throw over to you, and you
Yeah.
can kind of explain like a little bit about your journey. And I know you've done like a few of the protein challenges, and what made you like where we're at right now.
Yeah. So I had previously, done two of the protein challenges and hadn't jumped on the Thrive and, just gone on my own little journey. Still used the recipes, but thought this time I reckon I'm going to hop on the Thrive program, which has been great. Just up my protein and, of course, going through menopause, perimenopause, all of that. So, has really helped me a lot.
And so what do you think the difference is actually being involved in the program?
It's the accountability,
Mm-hmm.
having the recipes at hand,
Mm-hmm.
so and the library, so I can chop and change if I need to. So yeah, you get a bit bored of your own recipes. I mean, I'm somebody who pretty much sticks to the same thing every day: breakfast, dinner. Yeah. So yes, it's nice to have that variety of recipes with the macros all worked out,
And what were
which
your
is
sort
great.
of goals like coming in and starting?
So my goals coming in and starting were to really focus on
Mm-hmm.
protein at every
Mm-hmm.
meal, which sometimes sort of goes to the wayside. You have a couple of eggs for breakfast and think, oh, that'll do. Actually, no, it won't do. So starting off with that breakfast, 30 to 40 grams of protein, really good start to the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah, and really sort of to change my body composition because I had got the muffin top. It had come from nowhere, as we say. It hadn't come from nowhere, but it did.
I know.
Yeah, crazy. So just to dial everything in and get a bit of focus
And
and
are
practice.
you seeing body composition changes?
Yeah, so since doing the protein challenge and then moving on to the Thrive, my measurements have changed. So 5.5 centimeters around my waist, which is amazing. When you just haven't been able to shift it at all. So it's been fantastic. And that's just doing all the things, as we say.
Yes,
So,
yes. And
yeah,
because we were talking
consistency.
about that a bit this week on the program, and there's a little bit of like, not negativity, but a little bit of like, oh, now we've got to like tick all the boxes, and it can have like a negative spin. And I suppose the spin on it is if you're overwhelmed or feeling like there's so much going on that there's like a whole lot of things you have to do. I guess my take on it is like that it's actually like a blueprint for success. So that's really what the program doubles down on, is creating like a non-negotiable on some of those things. And I think like your experience, when you start focusing on that and
Yeah,
making it a priority where other things in your life don't take over because you've kind of invested in yourself to do it, that's where you start actually getting results, like you said, with your body composition.
correct. And I mean, you do have those weekends. We went away for a weekend, long weekend the other weekend, and that was fine. But I focused, even going out, I studied the menu for the pub. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have some seafood and some veg. So, yes, I had a couple of jam donuts here and there, but I took my breakfast with me as well. So, I took my protein powder, I took my oats, my yogurt, and my raspberries.
Amazing.
So, there's a great start, and then whatever happened from there, I just, worked it out as I went.
And hopefully you're understanding that it is like not about being perfect. Like it is that, like of course we can have a jam donut. Like it's the balance of, we're not meant to be being perfect. It's about creating the things, like you said, I took my own breakfast. I already knew that I'd started the day well. And like it's not
Yeah,
that we can never have a drink again, or we can never have chocolate again, or that's not what we're trying to achieve. We're actually trying to achieve like 80% of our life we're doing the right thing, and we're
that's
aware of what that is. So that's kind of, I suppose, the
Correct.
main. And like you talked about the accountability, it's the accountability that helps you create a habit out of that. Is that what you're finding?
Correct. It's the accountability that creates the habit. And I jumped on the Thrive to continue those, to try and change my habits, I suppose, which was, that afternoon snack, which I love chips. Who doesn't? Chips and something sweet.
Yes.
But it was, consistently every day. And so now there's none of that
Yes.
because
Yes.
I've worked and worked and I'm full after
Yeah,
lunch.
and the thing is that it's like, not that we can't have chips, because of course, like, you're going to have chips, but we have them
That's right.
in like a balance of the week rather than having them every day, because that's where all of a sudden the muffin top or the belly fat is like, comes out of nowhere, where it's actually
That's
been
right.
creeping on every day, like, um,
Exactly.
yeah, and there's just a better balance on your food and how you manage it. So I think, especially our generation, because we were conditioned to eat less, make the scale number go down. And
Correct.
our relationship with food is not always like awesome. So has this helped you realize that, like, what to eat to really thrive?
Correct. So I think, previously I would not have eaten as much as I eat now on the program.
Yeah.
So always trying to cut
Yeah.
calories, you know, do the two shakes and then eat one meal.
Yeah.
All of those things that we did, that previously worked, that does not work anymore.
No.
So changing the focus and eating more, moving more, and building the strength.
Was it like, did you have to overcome some of that conditioning? Like, because it is more food, and I know, and like, when you start eating more, you're like, I'm going to put on weight.
Yeah. The whole panic of, because I'm so brainwashed, because I am that Gen X,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my 50s, and we grew up with the supermodels
Mm-hmm.
and drilled by the scales and the number on the scales.
Mm-hmm.
And it has taken me a good couple of years to sort of get out of that mindset and think about building strength and, making protein a priority and not worrying about the scale weight.
What do you think we can do to help women understand that what we've been doing isn't working, and when we're under fueling and under eating, it's actually not working for us?
It's really difficult. I speak to a lot of women constantly about it. A lot of people who are doing keto at the moment, and I'm like, it's a short-term fix.
Mm,
Because how are you going to maintain? How is that
mm,
sustainable when you go back to eating normal food?
mm,
I mean, I think it's just lots of conversations, and
mm.
I see lots of women every week, and we're always having conversations about this focus. They're so focused on the scales. I said, how about we focus on the weight on the bar
Yes,
instead of the weight on the scales?
yes,
Because
yes.
that's going to get you to where you need to be. You want to be building muscle at this stage in your life.
Yes, we need to stop using the scale as a measure of our success. So
Yeah.
now I like to refer to it more like we used to, as goal weight rather than goal size, because the scale doesn't tell us what our goal size is. When we're building muscle, like recently, as you know, I just went through a 12-week calorie deficit where, well, I call it a rebody composition, because I lost body fat but put on muscle. The scale went up. So if I was using the scale as a measure for success, then I would have said I failed, but my whole body looks different. So, we've got to stop, I suppose, using the scale as our measure of success, and maybe change some of the wording around how we look at success, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was funny. I was sitting with a group of girls the other day at coffee, and one of the girls said to me, oh, how much do you weigh now? And I said, well, I'm 72 kilos. She said, you are not 72 kilos. You don't look 72 kilos. No way, because I'm 67. So you can't be 72 kilos. I said, I am. Yeah. I'm 72 kilos. Yeah.
Yeah, of muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Because
right.
that's
That's
the
right.
difference, is that, and we talk about this a lot, and you hear me talk about this a lot, changing those statistics on aging. Now, we can all lose weight per se,
Correct.
but that's not going to keep us out of the nursing home. You know,
It's
it's
not.
muscle and strong bones that's going to keep us out of the nursing home. So, why are we focusing on a number going down? We should be focusing on building the strongest body we can to help us live as long as we can. And so
Yeah,
that's
that's
where the
right.
conversation needs to go.
That's where definitely the conversation needs to go. And, talking about mobility and balance, all of those things, strength building,
Yes.
and getting your cardio in as well,
Yeah.
because as we say, the heart's a muscle, it
Yes.
needs to be
Yeah.
exercised. So, yeah, it's all of those things. Conversations, constant conversations, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think unfortunately it's hard because our generation has lived with it for quite a number of years. And
Yeah.
so trying to reprogram it, this is why these conversations are so like powerful. And the more we can share them, like, so if you're listening to this, like share it with all your friends, because it's so important, like we're not getting it from our, you're not getting it from society. You're not
No.
getting that message on social media or on television or like, so we need to start reprogramming it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I am
definitely.
so thrilled to have you today. Thank you for spending the time. Have you got any advice for anyone listening in that you would like to impart? Hit your protein, maybe.
Hit the protein bar. I just think that consistency is the key, and doing all the things and doing your non-negotiables every day will, be a good way to see success.
And have
Yeah.
you got any like favorite recipes that you are enjoying the most?
I do like the mussel curry.
Yes, that is a
That's a
good.
good one. I'm
That's good.
quite big on the slow cooker recipes
Yes.
because, I can use them for dinner, then that's lunch for the next few days.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. It saves
in
time
the slow
too.
cookers.
And anything like, have you had any like light bulb moments or any major takeaways that have kind of stuck with you so far?
Oh, look, I definitely think the meal prep is a game
Yeah.
changer. You've got to be organized,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
success. Otherwise, you're reaching for other not so great
Yeah,
choices.
for
So,
sure.
definitely the meal prep.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with you. That is a real biggie. Well, thank you so much for spending the time today.
Amazing.
Truly appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And I look forward to seeing you continue getting a great results as we journey on.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Janelle.
Emily. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was